A story is told that begins in verse 20, continues through 27. It's so emotionless, it's told in such a matter-of-fact way that it seems almost trifling, unimportant, not just a little bit difficult to understand. In several places in the Old Testament, we run across these odd scenes that seems almost out of place, slightly out of context perhaps. The problem is not with the verses. It's with our inability to connect them to the matters of the grave importance that they address. So let's examine closely what happens here. This is about Noah planting a vineyard, making wine, and getting drunk. Then crawling inside his tent, falling asleep, naked as a jaybird. Yep, the great godly man Noah got drunk. In this case, wine. By the way, this is the first mention of wine, yain, in the Bible. Now, much argument over these verses has occurred over the centuries, mostly centered on whether or not Noah accidentally created wine and then accidentally drank it and had the world's first hangover. Not much chance. Noah undoubtedly knew the result of fermenting grapes and then drinking it. Noah was just a man. He had flaws, and the beauty of our Holy Scriptures is that they don't sanitize human beings, make us, perfect and infallible, like all the false religions tend to do with their leaders and founders. Not even the greatest men of the Bible, our Bible heroes, are mentioned, without including some of their faux pas and their disagreeable character traits. And the reason for this is very straightforward. Our righteousness before God's not dependent on us. It's dependent on God. Always has been. Always will be. But for some reason, Ham enters the tent of Noah and discovers him drunk and naked. And he goes out of the tent and he tells his two brothers, Shem and Japheth. The two brothers then drape a cloak over their shoulders. They walk backward into Noah's tent, and they let the garment fall over their father's nakedness without having looked upon him. When Noah wakes up, he's offended. He's angry. He takes his wrath out, not so much on Ham, but on Ham's son Canaan. He pronounces a curse upon Canaan. Yet, there's more to what's going on here than only a curse on at least one member of Ham's line. There are also some blessings pronounced upon Shem and upon Japheth. Now, before we discuss those blessings, the logical question here is, what was Noah so upset about? Why did his grandson Canaan, who doesn't appear to even have been involved in this event, get the brunt of this curse? Well, ancient sages have come up with all sorts of reasons. Without going into detail, the thought is that Ham did far more than just to happen in upon his father's nakedness, that Ham committed some type of unnatural act upon his father, Noah, because Ham had become a wicked man. Virtually every competent Bible version uses words in verse 24 that says something like, "And when Noah awoke, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. Yet, although I used to think so, I no longer accept that Ham did any more to his father than see him naked and then run out and report what he saw to his brothers." After a lot of reading of the ancient Hebrew sages, I see that there were likely two crimes committed by Ham. First was the crime of shaming his father. It was not simply seeing his father Noah drunk and naked that was the crime. It was what Ham did about it. Rather than show respect by just covering up his father and then leaving without uttering a word, Ham dashed outside and tattled to his brothers. And in doing so, Ham did not honor his father. And what a principle's laid down here. Noah deserved to be honored because, first, he was Ham's parent. Second, because God called Noah of all men on earth tzaddik, righteous in his sight. If God thought Noah righteous, that's the end of the matter. Ham should have not pointed out his father's sin to his brothers. Now, the second crime that Ham may have committed, and this is my own theory on the matter, is that called lashon hara in Hebrew. Lashon hara means to speak evil of someone, usually in the form of gossip or slander. Now, though it may not sound all that serious, because it's done rather usually in our society, in fact, once we get to Leviticus and begin discussing sarat, which is usually mistakenly called leprosy, we're going to see that this disease is thought to be God's punishment, and that the crime or the sin associated with contracting sarat is almost always lashon hara, speaking evil of someone.